Kuminga baseline jump shot goes down. Kuminga down the lane! At the apex, Kuminga penetrates. Floater is good. +1.
In the darkness of war, the roar of bombs echoed nightly, threatening to tear apart Jonathan Kuminga's childhood. With tattered shoes and bare feet stained with red soil, he played basketball among children, forced to learn how to hold guns instead of embracing dreams. That orange ball wasn't just a game. It was the only light, a path to salvation for him and his family sinking into despair. From a lost boy on American soil, unable to utter a word of English, thrown into adversity by fate, Kuminga rose like an unquenchable flame. Now, he is a dazzling star of the Golden State Warriors, holding a multi-million-dollar contract, gliding through the streets of San Francisco in a gleaming Lamborghini Urus, his sharp eyes filled with pride. Once doubted by Coach Steve Kerr, he quietly transformed himself into a secret weapon, an ace in the hole when Curry was off the court. Is Kuminga waiting for the moment he's crowned, or has he already begun to build his own invincible empire? Without further ado, let's delve into the story of one of the most elite players on the Golden State Warriors right now, Jonathan Kuminga. Childhood, growing up amid war and bombs. Jonathan Malangu Kuminga was born on October 6, 2002, in Goma, Democratic Republic of Congo, one of the most challenging and unstable regions in the world. Goma was unlike the places where NBA athletes typically grow up. There were no hardwood courts, no basketball hoops in schools, and certainly no professional training academies. Instead, there were dusty red roads, the constant sound of gunfire each night, and families living in fear of whether they would wake up the next day. Kuminga grew up in a large family that wasn't wealthy, but possessed a strong will to survive. His parents weren't involved in sports, but one thing set him apart. Basketball blood ran deep in his family. Jonathan's cousin, Emmanuel Mudiay, was one of the first to leave Congo for the United States, and later became an NBA player. Jonathan's older brother, Joel Ntambwe, was also a young basketball talent who played at prestigious universities like UNLV and Texas Tech. In an environment where sports were the only way out of poverty, Kuminga quickly understood that if he wanted to escape war and hardship, he had to play basketball as if his life depended on it. From the age of 6, Jonathan played basketball with kids 3 to 4 years older than him on cracked concrete courts, makeshift in the corner of the neighborhood. He had no coach and no basketball shoes, only bleeding feet and a burning desire to get out of a place where children had to learn to duck at the sound of gunfire. During those years, Kuminga didn't just learn how to dribble, he learned how to observe opponents, opportunities, and the only path that could lead him out of Goma. The first turning point came at the age of 13. Thanks to the sponsorship of relatives living in the United States, Kuminga was brought to Huntington, West Virginia, a small but peaceful city, completely different from where he had lived. Culture shock was inevitable. Jonathan couldn't speak English. He felt lost among the native white and black children whose jokes he didn't understand. But he had basketball, and basketball once again became his saving language. After only a short time, Jonathan began to gain attention at Our Savior New American School in New York, where he displayed extraordinary leaping ability and unusual strength for a boy not yet 16 years old. He quickly became a high school star and was recruited by many elite high schools. Ultimately, he chose the Patrick School in New Jersey, a superstar factory that had produced Kyrie Irving and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. Here, he not only learned basketball at a higher level, but also became accustomed to discipline, training intensity, and media pressure. In 2020, instead of following the college path like many other players, Kuminga made a bold decision. Bypassing scholarship offers from top universities like Duke, Auburn, and Texas Tech to join the G League Ignite, the NBA's developmental team. At that time, he was only 17 years old and one of the rare young talents who dared to bet everything on an early professional career. Jonathan Kuminga's life is not a story of miracles. It's the journey of a boy from a city where people were familiar with the sound of bullets instead of the starting whistle. It's a long road filled with loneliness and struggle to turn the language of basketball into a passport out of the darkness. And by the time he stepped into the G League, Kuminga was no longer a child fleeing war. He was a survivor. And he was about to become the one in control of the game. Career: GSW's secret weapon. On July 29, 2021, Jonathan Kuminga was selected by the Golden State Warriors with the 7th overall pick in the NBA draft. Many considered it a gamble. Kuminga was only 18 years old, coming from the G League Ignite, had never played college basketball, and his skills were still raw. But behind the scenes, the Warriors believed they had drafted a true diamond in the rough. Less than 3 months later, on October 30th, 2021, he made his NBA debut, scoring 3 points and getting 1 steal in a 103-82 victory over the Oklahoma City Thunder. In his rookie season of 2021 to 2022, Kuminga played 70 games and averaged 9.3 points per game. Although he played a supporting role, he was a reliable piece in a team on its way to reclaiming the championship. The Warriors won the title after defeating the Boston Celtics in the finals, and Kuminga, at 19 years and 253 days old, became the second youngest player in NBA history to win a championship ring, only behind Darko Milicic. However, the coaching staff's trust wasn't always a given. In the 2023 to 2024 season, despite showing significant improvement, Kuminga was often benched by coach Steve Kerr during crucial moments. The breaking point came in January 2024 after a loss to the Denver Nuggets, when multiple inside sources revealed that Kuminga had lost faith in Coach Kerr. He was frustrated at being taken out of the game for the final 18 minutes despite playing effectively, and felt that he wasn't being valued enough. Kerr later admitted that his handling of Kuminga might have been frustrating, but affirmed his belief in the player's long-term development. Despite his dissatisfaction, Kuminga didn't complain. He chose to respond with action. On January 24th, 2024, he scored 25 points on 11 for 11 shooting in a victory over the Atlanta Hawks, tying Chris Mullin's record for most consecutive field goals made in a game by a Warrior. Not long after, in late December, he scored 34 points in 2 consecutive games, a loss to the Clippers and a win against the Suns, both proving that Kuminga was no longer just potential, but a genuine offensive threat. But professional basketball isn't just about the spotlight. On January 4th, 2025, Kuminga suffered an ankle injury in a win against the Memphis Grizzlies, forcing him to miss 31 games. It was a period when the Warriors were shorthanded and on a losing streak, and many worried he wouldn't return to form before the playoffs. But Jonathan Kuminga returned just in time, and in the right way. On March 11th, in a game against the Sacramento Kings, he scored 18 points in just the first 20 minutes of play since his recovery. The peak moment came in Game 3 of the 2025 Western Conference semifinals, when Stephen Curry was sidelined with a hamstring injury. Against a tough opponent like the Minnesota Timberwolves, Kuminga exploded for 30 points on 11 for 18 shooting, including 3 accurate three-pointers. Although the Warriors lost 97-102, his performance forced the experts to reconsider. This was no longer the Congolese boy from years ago, but a true warrior, knowing how to shine when his team needed him most. As of May 2025, Jonathan Kuminga has played 258 games in the NBA, averaging 12.5 points, 4 rebounds, and nearly 2 assists per game. But those numbers don't fully reflect his journey, because the most significant thing isn't the points, but the fact that in a roster once filled with experienced stars, Kuminga has stepped out of the shadow of potential player to become a true cornerstone. a silent but irreplaceable part of the Golden State Warriors. Net worth. From a poor boy in Goma to a young NBA millionaire. As of 2025, Jonathan Kuminga, the Golden State Warriors' rising star, possesses an estimated net worth of $10 million, a figure that not only reflects his talent on the court, but also showcases the lavish and high-class lifestyle of a burgeoning superstar. In the NBA world, where the flashbulbs constantly chase supercars and multi-million-dollar mansions, Kuminga chooses to shine in his own way. Both discreet and magnificent, like a gentleman who understands that the value of luxury lies in control, not ostentation. Kuminga's income is a golden stream. His 4-year, $24.8 million rookie contract, signed after being selected 7th overall in the 2021 NBA Draft, laid the foundation for his financial empire. In the 2024 to 2025 season, he pocketed over $6 million from the Warriors, and as an upcoming restricted free agent, experts predict a new contract could push his annual earnings into 8 figures. But his playing salary is just one part. Kuminga also dominates lucrative endorsement deals, most notably his relationship with Nike Basketball, signed in 2021 when he was still a raw talent with the G League Ignite. As the face of campaigns targeting the French-speaking and African communities in the United States, Kuminga's image appears prominently on billboards from New York to Nairobi, with limited-edition Nike shoes bearing his name being fiercely sought after. Rumors abound that Nike is considering launching a signature shoe line for him, a rare honor reserved for true stars. But if you think Kuminga only lives off his contract, take a look at his real estate empire and supercar collection that are causing a media frenzy. Although he keeps it private, inside sources reveal that Kuminga has quietly acquired a luxurious penthouse in downtown San Francisco, with panoramic views of the Golden Gate Bay, valued at around $4 million. This apartment, according to whispers from Sports Illustrated, was designed by a top architect with interiors inspired by Congolese culture combined with modern style, rare ebony wood floors, African artwork, and a theater-quality surround sound system. Additionally, Kuminga is reportedly eyeing a resort villa in Malibu, where he can unwind by the Pacific waves, a deal that could further deplete his coffers by several $1 million. And then, we can't forget Kuminga's most dazzling display of luxury, a supercar collection that would make any speed enthusiast envious. In 2023, he sent social media into a frenzy when he posted an Instagram story showing off his sleek black Lamborghini Urus with vibrant red leather interiors and a steering wheel adorned with a gleaming gold logo. This car, worth over $250,000 according to Sportskita, was a gift he bought himself after a breakout season and has now become an icon whenever he cruises through the streets of San Francisco. But the Urus is just the beginning. Recent Reddit posts have even hinted that Kuminga has added a Bugatti Chiron Supersport to his collection, a $3.9 million speed masterpiece with a 1,600 horsepower engine that can take him from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just 2.4 seconds. Despite living in the dazzling world of supercars and real estate, Kuminga still holds a corner of his heart for the simple and meaningful things. He doesn't hesitate to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to send back to his hometown of Goma, Democratic Republic of Congo, where he is sponsoring the construction of a state-of-the-art basketball academy expected to open in 2026. This academy, according to NBC Sports Bay Area, will be a place to nurture the dreams of thousands of underprivileged children, with NBA standard courts, skills training classes, and full scholarships. In the United States, he quietly sponsors relatives from Congo to immigrate and also pays the tuition for 3 of his nephews at prestigious schools in New Jersey, where he once honed his high school basketball dreams. Jonathan Kuminga is not just a star, He is a symbol of meaningful luxury, where roaring supercars and magnificent penthouses blend with a compassionate heart. In a league where fame is often bought by the flash of cameras, Kuminga chooses to live like a king. Flashy but not ostentatious, wealthy but never forgetting his roots. At the age of 22, he doesn't just possess assets. He possesses a legacy built on sweat, talent, and a vision that extends far beyond the bright lights of the NBA. Marriage, a love affair with a mysterious singer. Under the bright lights of the NBA, where the love stories of superstars can overshadow even the most spectacular plays, Jonathan Kuminga remains a quiet, enigmatic figure like a fleeting breeze. As of May 2025, not a single headline, no paparazzi photo, and no confirmation has ever surfaced about his romantic life. This 22-year-old is not engaged, not married, and has never publicly shown any romantic interest in anyone. On social media, Kuminga is an outsider. No personal photos, no glamorous appearances at the Met Gala, and no trace in the romantic rumors that the press relentlessly pursues. Whispers have surfaced, fleeting as smoke. In 2023, there was a buzz about Kuminga supposedly stepping out with a model at a nightclub in Los Angeles. Before that, in the summer of 2022, a few social media posts tagged him with a Congolese singer in Miami, accompanied by knowing smiles. But all of it was just faint glimmers. No photos, no statements, and nothing in reputable news outlets to confirm. When reporters tried to dig deeper, they were met with Kuminga's cold silence. He neither denied nor explained, as if the noise wasn't worth his attention. Why does he choose to live so privately? Kuminga has never spoken about it, but the answer likely lies in the way he has navigated his journey. In a league where many players turn social media into a stage to build their brand, Kuminga chooses to stay out of the fleeting spotlight. His Instagram account is a monochrome painting, on-court highlights, sweat-drenched training photos, and occasionally a few simple moments with family. No romantic PR, no following the influencer-athlete trend like many of his Gen Z peers. Kuminga seems to want only the orange ball to tell his story. Instead of the bright lights of the arena, Kuminga dedicates his heart to simple but profound things. In interviews, he often mentions his mother, the strong woman who left Congo, overcame countless difficulties to bring him to the land of opportunity in America. He talks about his nephews in New Jersey, where he used to play basketball in high school, and how he quietly supports their tuition to give them a brighter future. At Golden State Warriors family events, while his teammates appear with girlfriends or media partners, Kuminga brings only his mother and sister, his smile radiant beside his dearest loved ones. For him, family is a refuge, a warm fire in the storm of fame. In the NBA world, where private life and career intertwine like two sides of a glittering coin, Kuminga chooses to separate them with an invisible wall. Not because he's hiding something, but because he doesn't need to show off. If there is a relationship quietly existing, it certainly resides in the silent space he guards, a private corner that even the most persistent paparazzi lenses cannot reach. At 22, as the world waits for him to explode on the court, Jonathan Kuminga seems to have learned a rare art, being true to himself without needing the flash of cameras to prove his worth. Scandal, talent, questioned by the Warriors themselves. In the harsh reality of the NBA, where a scandal can destroy a career overnight, Jonathan Kuminga has maintained himself as a silent, unblemished warrior. No legal troubles, no involvement with drugs, and no disciplinary violations. He is a rare model of professionalism. But Kuminga's path with the Golden State Warriors has not been paved with roses. The storms, the doubts, and the pressures have tested the steely will of the 22-year-old, especially in his tense relationship with the coaching staff and his uncertain place in the lineup. Tensions reached a boiling point in January 2024 after a bitter loss to the Denver Nuggets. According to a report from The Athletic, Kuminga had lost faith in coach Steve Kerr, whom he felt was stifling his immense potential. Benched inexplicably, he stood on the sidelines, his eyes filled with disappointment and doubt. Rumors swirled that Kuminga no longer believed in Kerr's strategy, that he felt trapped in a system that wouldn't allow him to explode. These whispers were like smoldering embers, threatening his future with the Warriors. The 2024 to 2025 season continued to be a grueling test. Kuminga was frequently relegated to the bench, even in crucial playoff games where the spotlight was brightest. He was absent from team introductions, avoided media lenses, fueling constant speculation among reporters. Was Kuminga silently resentful? Was he considering leaving the Warriors to seek a new horizon? The questions hung in the air, but no explanation escaped his tight-lipped silence. Nevertheless, amidst the storm, Kuminga remained the embodiment of resilience. Not a single public criticism aimed at Kerr or his teammates, not a moment of letting go. He quietly honed his skills, turning every minute on the court into an opportunity to prove his worth. His spectacular bursts of speed, his powerful dunks, and his burning gaze seemed to say, "I'm still here, and I won't break." From a doubted player, Kuminga is gradually establishing himself as an indispensable piece of the Warriors, even if the road is full of thorns. Jonathan Kuminga may have never been involved in a scandal, but he is no stranger to the harsh challenges of the NBA. The moments of doubt, the months of silent struggle have forged him into a stronger, more mature version of himself. At 22, Kuminga isn't just fighting for a spot on the court. He is writing a story of unwavering will, where talent and determination blend to create a true star. Achievements, from bench warmer to must-keep player at any cost. From the dusty streets of the Democratic Republic of Congo to the dazzling lights of the NBA stage, Jonathan Kuminga is not just a basketball star, but an inspiring flame, igniting hope for millions. With innate talent and an indomitable will, he has overcome adversity to etch his name in history. But what truly makes Kuminga shine is his big heart and his desire to change the world beyond the sidelines. Even in his rookie season of 2021 to 2022, Kuminga created a miracle. At 19 years and 253 days old, he and the Golden State Warriors defeated the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals, winning the coveted championship ring. He became the second youngest player in league history to achieve this glory, second only to Darko Milicic, a milestone that made the whole world take notice of the young man from Congo. But for Kuminga, the title was just the beginning. The basketball court wasn't the only place he would leave his mark. Beyond the NBA spotlight, Kuminga quietly dedicates himself to the community with a heart that constantly beats for meaningful causes. In 2023, he became a coach at the Basketball Without Borders Africa Camp, a prestigious event that brings together young talents from over 25 African countries. Standing alongside stars like Bam Adebayo and Darius Garland, Kuminga not only taught basketball skills, but also conveyed a message of perseverance and dreams, igniting hope for children who have faced hardships just like he did. With his radiant smile and sincerity, he became a symbol for young Africans, proving that no dream is too far-fetched. In the United States, Kuminga also tirelessly spreads kindness. During a memorable game at Madison Square Garden in February 2024, he moved the audience by auctioning off his jersey to raise funds for an anti-gun violence organization, a pressing issue he had witnessed the consequences of since his high school days in New Jersey. This action was not just a charitable gesture, but a powerful statement from a young man who dared to stand up for justice and community safety. Jonathan Kuminga is not just defined by statistics or a glittering championship ring. He is the embodiment of resilience, compassion, and the desire to make a difference. From a boy who grew up amidst war and poverty, Kuminga has become a guiding light for the younger generation, proving that an athlete doesn't just play for glory but can also fight for a better world. At 22, his story is still being written, but every step Kuminga takes echoes a message. Talent can take you to the top, but only the heart can make you immortal. The future, a crucial turning point in his career. Jonathan Kuminga's future stands at a crossroads where talent, ambition, and market realities intersect. After 4 seasons with the Golden State Warriors, he is no longer a raw gem needing polishing, but a 22-year-old player with 30-point playoff games under his belt, someone once expected to be a cornerstone inheriting the golden generation. But now the question is no longer, is he good enough? But rather, where will he continue to be? Kuminga's rookie contract expires in the summer of 2025, making him a restricted free agent. According to sources from Bleacher Report, he was aiming for an average salary of $35 million per year in extension negotiations, while the Warriors were only willing to offer around $30 million. This discrepancy, though not massive, reflects a difference in how both sides evaluate his role and value within the current team. The arrival of Jimmy Butler has altered the Warriors' roster structure and tactics. Kuminga, with a playing style that requires the ball and space, sometimes finds himself out of sync in the new system. Despite explosive games, he has also experienced periods of reduced roles, even being sidelined in some playoff matchups. Given this situation, several other teams have begun to show interest in Kuminga. The Brooklyn Nets, with approximately $40 million in cap space, are considered a potential destination if the Warriors decide to execute a sign and trade. Teams like the Miami Heat and the Chicago Bulls are also reportedly closely monitoring his situation. However, not everyone wants Kuminga to leave. Even Jimmy Butler, who has somewhat overshadowed his role, has publicly stated his support for the Warriors re-signing Kuminga, believing he remains an important part of the team's future. For his part, Kuminga has remained silent. He has not publicly requested a trade, nor made any statements about his future. But every time he steps onto the court, he plays with the spirit of someone trying to prove his worth, not just to the Warriors, but to the entire NBA. Kuminga's future could involve a lucrative contract with the Warriors, a fresh start with another team, or another season to prove he deserves a larger role. Regardless of the choice, one thing is certain: Jonathan Kuminga will not stop. He has come too far to turn back, and the path ahead, though unclear, remains wide open for those who dare to keep moving forward. From Goma, where childhood was forged in fear and basketball, to a championship ring at 19, 30-point playoff games, perfect shooting nights, and criticisms that couldn't shake him. Kuminga doesn't create media frenzy, but he exists firmly in the hearts of those who truly watch basketball. To the Congolese community, he is a role model. To the Warriors, he is the talent of the future. And to himself, he is still moving forward, not loudly, but surely. Perhaps Jonathan Kuminga's greatest legacy will not lie in a single glorious season, but in the way he navigated every doubt, never giving up, never changing, and never losing his essence. We are not responsible if you misunderstand or misapply this content. Please consider, verify, and selectively accept it. Found it interesting? Give it a like, comment, share, or subscribe to the channel. That's the fuel to help us tell more top stories about other NBA superstars.